Hello, good day to all my Form 5 students. Today we are here to continue on the chapter Redox Equilibrium, part 14. In this part 14, teacher will explain in depth on how to understand electrolysis of aqueous solution. Now, in part 13 of our video, teacher explained about few terms that involves electrolysis, electrolyte, non-electrolyte, anode and cathode. Okay, so these are the terms that students need to know in order to understand electrolysis. Now, in part 13 of my video, I showed students on how to explain electrolysis of molten compound. Now, in this part 14, I will explain on electrolysis of aqueous solution. Now, please understand that aqueous solution here means, of course, electrolyte. Electrolyte, as what I have explained in part 13 of my video, can be acid or can be ionic compound. Now, if it's acid, it can be in the form of aqueous solution. Now, please understand the meaning of aqueous solution. Aqueous solution means you have diluted the substance in water. Teacher repeat, aqueous solution here means you have diluted the substance. May be it acid or ionic compound. You have diluted in water. But molten is where you heat up the substance straight, okay, without any addition of substance. Okay, so please mark my word. Teacher said molten means you heat up the substance until it melts, okay, without any addition of other substances. So that is the difference between molten and aqueous compound. Okay, sorry, aqueous solution. Okay, now, so without further ado, let me start on one example of electrolysis of aqueous solution. And here, my first example, I am going to show students on electrolysis of an acid. Here, we are using acid, sulfuric acid. Okay, hope students can recognize sulfuric acid. And when students want to show that this is in a form of aqueous solution, can you see? You just draw a dots, okay, lines here to show that this is aqueous solution, or you can write AQ, shows aqueous solution. And here the example that I am showing students is sulfuric acid. Just say 0.01 mole DMQ. This shows that this sulfuric acid is not a concentrated acid. Now let's start. So when you are starting, before you explain about electrolysis, I want students to look at the type of acid that I have used. So when students look at the type of acid that I have used, you must understand that you must write down all the ions which are present in sulfuric acid. Hydrogen ion, hydroxide ion, and sulfate ion. Now you might be wondering, teacher, where did suddenly hydroxide? Now this is what we call by hydroxide ion. So you might be wondering, teacher, where did suddenly hydroxide ion appear? Looks like your hydroxide ion has appeared out of nowhere. Now please remember, even before we start about this electrolysis, I mentioned the word that aqueous solution are acids or ionic compounds which has been diluted in water. So please remember that water, H2O, comprises of hydrogen ion and of course hydroxide ion. So electrolysis, the work of electrolysis is to break down electrolyte to its constituents, doesn't matter whoever it is. Meaning sulfuric acid aqueous solution contains, of course, hydrogen ion from the sulfuric acid itself, sulfate ion from the sulfuric acid, and again hydrogen ion from the water, hydroxide ion from the water. So that is the meaning of electrolysis. Doesn't matter whatever substance is in the electrolyte, it will be broken down into its constituents using electricity. Now that is electrolysis. Now let's go to here will be a bit. Now please remember when teacher explained about molten compound, electrolysis of molten compound, it was quite simple. But sorry to say, aqueous solution is not going to be that simple. Okay, so that is the reason why I am here to give at least 3 examples for further understanding of this of students. Alright, so that you all or students can understand better. Alright, now let's start slowly. Okay, anode. Now please remember our part 13 of video. Anode is positive terminal of a battery. Cathode is negative terminal of the battery. So this is positive terminal, this is negative terminal. Now again from part 13 video, so that is the reason why part 13 video is very important. Students must watch part 13 video before continuing to part 14. Alright. Now so please remember what have I told regarding anode. Anode attracts an ion. Cathode attracts cation. Now, let me circle in red pen who are anions here. Hydroxide ion and sulfate ions are anions here. So, hydroxide ion and sulfate ions. Okay, without any doubt, both will be not to say collected, they will be like making a line. Okay, they'll be going and okay attach themselves at anode and cathode. Let me circle it in blue pen. Cathode is only hydrogen ion. So only hydrogen ion will be collected. Not to say collected, it will be like going attracted to the cathode part. Now this is where your dilemma starts. Who will be discharged? Now, please remember when teacher used the word discharged, meaning any types of an ion either might receive electron or lose electron. Discharge meaning any type of ions, may it be cat ion or an ion, loses or receives electron in order to become atom or molecule. That is the meaning of discharge here. Now, let's go to, now in order for students to choose between hydroxide and sulfate ion, I want students to look at this chart. Now, this is what we call by electrochemical series. Okay, this is quite a bit different than potential difference. Okay, so electrode value. Okay, but don't worry about that. So, electrochemical series, we have 2 parts, which is all the cations arranged from top to bottom, all the anions arranged from top to bottom. Now, can you see the lower it is, easier to discharge. Okay, so we use electrochemistry is chemical series is quite easy to understand. Okay, now sodium to copper ion, all the cations arranged. Sulfate ion to hydroxide, I did not include all, I just included few. Sulfate ion to hydroxide ion, knowing that ion which is at the bottommost is the easiest to discharge. Okay, ions which are at the bottommost are the easiest to discharge. Discharge in the sense of easier to either donate or receive electron. Okay, now looking at that, between hydroxide and sulfate, okay, now your eyes must automatically go here. Sulfate to hydroxide, can we see that hydroxide won? Because easier to discharge, the bottommost is hydroxide. So that is the reason why we must write here hydroxide discharged. Now you must explain how it discharged. Donate electron. Now let's go to here. No choice. Hydrogen discharged. Receive electron. Okay, so it receive electron. Now, see, please look at here properly. Students are supposed to know this, okay, by heart on how to discharge hydroxide ion. Okay, so now, so look at this. 4 hydroxide ion will donate, mark my word, will donate 4 electron to become water and oxygen gas. Teacher repeat, 4 hydroxide ion, since we already chosen hydroxide ion thanks to this chart, thanks to this chart. Okay, now, and let's go to 4 hydroxide ion donates 4 electron to become water and oxygen gas. Okay, now let's go to hydrogen. 2 hydrogen ion will receive, okay, see here, will receive 2 electron to become hydrogen gas. Now, we can say that hydroxide ion has went through oxidation and hydrogen ion has gone through reduction. Why it has gone through oxidation? Why hydroxide ion has gone through oxidation? Increase oxidation number, okay, and here hydrogen ion has decreased oxidation number, and we can say that oxidation number, and the observation will be colorless. Gas bubbles produced here will be again colorless. Gas bubbles produced. So that is the reason why students can see that after 10 to 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, we can see colorless gas bubbling away. Okay, so in this simple electrolysis of aqueous solution. Alright, okay, now again, I would like to highlight that electrolysis of aqueous solution is indeed a redox reaction. Why? Because hydroxide ion went through oxidation by donating electron. Hydrogen ion went through reduction by receiving electron. So that is the reason why electrolysis of aqueous solution is a redox reaction. Now, let's move on to second example. Now, teacher don't want students to get confused or panic regarding this chart. Okay, in when you are, because you are introduced to standard hydrogen electrode, so we will be discussing from the point of potential difference. But teacher think that it is easier to explain using electrochemical series. It is almost the same. So please look up, okay, Google it up. Electrochemical series is the easiest for students to understand. Okay, so why? Because electrochemical series shows the position of N ion and cation ion, and the position is in the best indicator to show which ion is easier to discharge. So why teacher use electrochemical series in this chapter? Why? Because as a beginner, it is easy for me to explain who will be discharged faster and who will be discharged much later. Alright, okay, so please keep that in mind. Now let's go to second example. In this second example, of course, we have a battery, positive, negative terminal. So this will be anode, this will be cathode. Teacher repeat, this will be anode, this will be cathode. Now, copper 2 sulfate in aqueous solution, and just say copper 2 sulfate in 0.01 mole dm cube, not that concentrated, it is a dilute substance. Now, what happens is, let's look at what anode and cathode. Okay, so now, no space, so sorry for that. Okay, anode, positive terminal of the battery, negative terminal of the battery. battery is cathode. Now, before we start our anode and whatever happens at anode and cathode, please analyze the electrolyte. It is important for students to analyze the electrolyte. Okay. Now, copper 2 sulfate has copper 2 ion, hydrogen ion, sulfate ion, and hydroxide ion. Again, copper ion comes from copper 2 sulfate. Sulfate ion, of course, comes from copper 2 sulfate also. And the presence of hydrogen and hydroxide ion is thanks to aqueous solution. So, please remember, electrolysis is a process where the electrolyte is broken into its constituent. Okay, they won't like, okay, I like you, so I just take you. No such thing. All will be broken into their constituents. Okay, so now I want students to understand copper 2 ion, hydrogen ion as cation ion, sulfate ion and hydroxide ion as an ion will be broken into constituents, and they will go and collect themselves here. Okay, so sulfate ion and hydroxide ion, right? This first. Hydrogen ion and copper 2 ion. Okay, now this is where the real dilemma starts. At least in here, you only have to crack your head about anode. Here, cathode, we only have hydrogen, so no problem. Here, can you see here, you have two pair of ions. So you have to really choose carefully. Now again, please look at this chart. Between sulfate and hydroxide, hydroxide is the lowest. So please make a mental note, hydroxide discharged. Discharged might be donating or receiving electron depending. Okay, now between hydrogen and copper, teacher repeat, between hydrogen and copper, copper is at the bottom. So looks like sort of copper one. So that is the reason why copper 2 ion discharged. Okay, so why don't I, so that you all can know. Okay, now, so how does hydroxide ion discharge? So that is the reason why teacher wants students to technically remember this. Okay, try to remember this. All right, so I write it a bit smaller. For hydroxide ion, donate 4 electron to become water and oxygen gas. So donate electron, increase oxidation number, which is from -1 go into, all of them go into 0. Okay, especially oxygen, oxide ion, because hydrogen is still okay. So we can say that actually your oxide ion goes through oxidation from -2 go into 0. Please remember, hydroxide ion will still stay at positive ion. Okay, now here look at copper. Copper 2 ion will receive 2 electron to become copper metal. So technically it is receiving electron, reduce oxidation number, where from +2 has gone to 0. So thanks to all this information, we can come into conclusion that oxidation happens at anode and reduction happens at cathode. And what will be the observation for this reaction? Okay, so we can say here, thanks to oxygen gas, we will have colorless gas bubbles. Here, copper, okay, copper ion changing into copper metal. So we can say brown solid, okay, brown solid or metal. We can say deposited. Brown solid or metal deposited. So this is electrolysis of aqueous solution using copper 2 sulfate. Now, one thing teacher would like to highlight here, copper 2 sulfate and indeed your sulfuric acid, they are actually very dilute, 0.01 mole per dm cube. Okay, now if students tend to use concentrated, they will be a bit different story already. Alright, now so last one, let's continue on sodium chloride. Okay, again sodium, same thing. When once you understand how it has to start, it is very easy for students already. Okay, now how do you indicate that sodium chloride is in a form of aqueous solution? Very easy, just draw dots or lines like this to show that it is in aqueous solution and write down aqueous. Okay, now sodium chloride has sodium ion, hydrogen ion, chloride ion and hydroxide ion. So this is crucial for students to do before we start explaining about electrolysis. Alright, so as anode and cathode. Okay, so anode, cathode. Okay, positive terminal, negative terminal. Alright, okay, so let's start. Now, who will be attracted at anode? Anode attracts N ions. So, who are N ions here? We can say chloride ions and hydrogen ions are, hydroxide ions are N ions here, and sodium ions and hydrogen ions are cation ions here. Now, again, look at the chart, electrochemical series we call it. Why teacher using electrochemical series? Because electrochemical series shows the difference between cation and N ion and which ions are easier to discharge. Okay, so now let's go to chloride ion and hydroxide ion. If you look at this, chloride ion is on top, hydroxide ion is at bottom. This shows that hydroxide ion usually will be chosen. Okay, so hydroxide ion discharged, hydrogen ion discharged. Okay, so please check whether the position is correct or not. Can you see sodium ion is here, hydrogen ion is here. Okay, okay, so now hydrogen ion is here. Okay, so this shows that hydrogen ion at the bottom. All right, okay, now what happens? Donate, electron, receive, electron. So again, remember, okay, for hydroxide ion, donate 4 electron to become water and oxygen gas. So, and hydrogen, 2 hydrogen ions receive 2 electron to become hydrogen gas. Right? Okay, now, so let's go to increase oxidation number, decrease oxidation number. Okay, now indeed, who increase oxidation? Actually, oxide ion, oxide ion, it goes from O2 negative to O2, something like that. Alright, okay, so oxide ion from negative 2 to 0, hydrogen from positive 1 into 0. So this shows that who has went through oxidation? Anode, hydroxide ion went through oxidation and hydrogen ion at cathode goes through reduction. Okay, so this proves that oxidation and reduction had happened at the same time. So this is the redox reaction. And what will be the observation? Here the observation, again, colorless gas bubbles. Gas bubbles. Okay, here also colorless gas bubbles. Okay, okay, students, Before we end the video, teacher would like to highlight one thing to all of you. So please remember, since both the observation and anode and cathode are colorless bubbles, same go to here. Colorless bubbles, colorless gas bubbles. You might be wondering, teacher, how am I supposed to know who produces hydrogen, who produces oxygen? Because both of them colorless gas bubbles. Even though theoretically we know that oxygen gas is produced, we as science students, we must prove that oxygen gas is produced. So that is the reason why when you know technically oxygen gas is produced, you use glowing wooden splinter. Okay, so since you all know, since form 1, okay, all of you know, and here burning wooden splinter. And of course, if you are using oxygen, glowing wooden splinter, you will find the glowing wooden splinter ignites. Why? Because oxygen helps combustion. Hydrogen, with burning wooden splinter, you can hear pop sound. So this is how to identify where has oxygen been produced, where has been hydrogen produced. So that is the reason why when you see two colorless gas bubbles, especially this kind of reaction, okay, this kind of reaction, when you see two colorless gas bubbles produced, can you see I don't even bother about this? Why? Because we know we have one brown, okay, so that's not so important for us to show which is oxygen gas. All right, but these two reaction, it is important for students to know which is oxygen gas, which is hydrogen gas. So we can use glowing wooden splinter to test oxygen gas and burning wooden splinter to test presence of hydrogen gas. So that is the reason why these two extra steps are important for this kind of electrolysis. Okay, so I hope students can understand what teacher have explained, okay, regarding electrolysis of aqueous solution. Teacher will continue our redox equilibrium in our next upcoming videos. Till then, continue watching my videos. Thank you for watching. See you all.